Hello, welcome to today's Q&A video. I know it's been about a year since I did one of these, but that's mostly because after I relaunched it, I only got a couple questions back out of that video. So there wasn't a lot of push to put this out. I did try to record this. Actually, I did record it back in July. Unfortunately, I wasn't really satisfied with kind of the way I did the answers and everything. And before I could start re-recording it, I became ill, so timing was horrible. And then, of course, there's things getting in the way. A few other developments came up that I figured, oh, you know what, I'll hold off, because what I want to do in these Q&A videos is they'll serve two purposes. They'll answer your questions that you happen to post in the comments below, and they'll answer the question that's on, I'm sure, a lot of people's minds, just out of curiosity, what's going on around here. So that'll be the first topic I cover, and then so it'll kind of be an update video, but nothing like the old update videos used to do. So anyway, with that, let's kind of get started. The first little fact I want to bring up is the location we're shooting in right now is a studio kind of operated by Hedgehog Historicals. That's a new nonprofit that's been set up this year by a friend of mine whose purpose here is basically education. Using wargaming, all the games we enjoy playing, to kind of teach. Now, obviously in general, gaming has a lot to offer. A lot of people may not take it that seriously, but if you think about it, there's interpersonal skills you can learn. There's obviously problem solving and being able to handle unfortunate situations. Things not going your way. Critical thinking is obviously something that can also be done. Learning strategy and trying different things and opening yourself up to more than just one way of doing things. And of course, if you look at strictly the historical wargaming side, there's a whole bunch of history that can be taught and learned. So this nonprofit has a lot of potential, and we'll probably have a separate video. We'll actually interview the person who started this all, and we'll see kind of what he has to say and where he wants to take this. So anyway, we're in the studio for today's video. You may have actually seen us use this space as well when we did the Warlords of Erewhon videos, the introduction video and the kind of initial thoughts. So you're going to see more videos from this space. So this will just be one other location where we'll be filming. It's not the only place. That's just one of them. So aside from that, when I got ill, as I mentioned before, the bolt action, how to play a bolt action series, kind of took a little longer to finish because I had to wait for the cough to subside in order to actually finish some of the recordings before I could get the whole thing done. But that's completed. Still thinking I'm going to be doing a couple more kind of how-to rules that's around the artillery observer and the air observer, just to fill in those gaps. But we'll see how that plays out. Finally, I'm working with having the space around. I'll probably have a few other video types come out. One is something we've been trying to do for a while, or been talking about for a while. It's kind of a bull session kind of a video. It's a chat, and it's a perfect video for you to have on while you're listening, while you're doing your painting or model building, whatever you're doing, just in the background. We're going to be, my friends and I are going to get together and just kind of talk topics. So we're going to have a selection of topics that we'll cover, and it'll be kind of a seed topic, if you will. And feel free to suggest some in the comments or even when the bull session videos start. I haven't decided the title yet. We got a couple ideas, but as this is kind of family friendly, I would like to kind of make the title something that everyone can relate to, but still be suitable for younger audiences as well. But we're going to start with a single topic and just kind of take the conversation wherever it may go. Just literally, it's just a chat session. So if you have questions for the general group in the area here, feel free to pop them below. Those will not be the same as the Q&A questions. But those questions that are part of the bull session videos in those comments, we'll kind of take those within that forum itself. So, all right, so that's kind of what's coming up. Hopefully, we can launch the first one within the next couple of weeks. We'll record it and then set it up for start doing that in January. All right, a couple things that a couple questions that came in from the last video, almost a year ago. One was from DM Dave, and one was from Basic Miniatures Painting. So let's start with DM Dave again, and this is kind of the order they show in the last feed. Most recent comment first. Dave asked, when painting, do you prefer to come up with your own color scheme or follow something out of a book, historical? And that actually, without trying to be difficult, it really depends. And here I'll kind of show a couple pictures here as I talk. Obviously, in my bolt action historical type games, those are going to be very, based on history. Now, as I'm building a Black Seas fleet, I am going to be building as close to historical as I can for the Spanish fleet and the privateers I'm building, but a couple of those ships are definitely going to be something just straight out of my head, just what I like. If I were to command a ship and I would get it to choose what colors it would be, I'm going to paint the ship that way. So, you see, it depends there. My Blood Red Skies, all those are strictly historical, which actually is not as much fun as I thought it would be. Doing the British squadrons, they've got camo patterns that are extremely specific. They actually use stencils in the factory. They laid over the entire aircraft to do the paint, so each airplane is exactly the same in the paint scheme. The very minor variations you can't even see really at the 1/200 scale. So it takes a little bit longer. But when it comes to the fantasy stuff like 40K and Warlords of Erewhon or Warhammer battles, all of those, that is really where it could go either way. I went with, for my Tau, for example, that was based on kind of historical colors, if you will, trying to imitate kind of the way the U.S. Army would be equipped or colored, tan pants essentially, or trousers with more of the olive upper body jackets and shirts and stuff, and of course the gear would be the same. It's my Cadians, Imperial Guard the same way. Matter of fact, the Polish color scheme, as it turned out, Polish tank scheme for camouflage is what I used on the tanks. I didn't even realize that it was Polish, but I was heavily influenced by historical stuff. However, when I go to my Eldar, wow, that's entirely out of this crazy head of mine, because, and you can see in the photo, it's literally, I took that one expression, taste the rainbow, a little bit pretty literally. So you can see in the box I've got all the different colors with the different squads, each representing a different clan clan or house from which the warriors come. And so it's extremely colorful. There's a thread of color that runs throughout the entire army, mostly in the logos and the weapons themselves, but other than that, every unit's kind of its own thing. So it depends on the story behind the army. It really determines kind of how I decide to paint the colors or choose the colors. All right. So thanks a lot, Dave, for that. Hopefully that's a complete enough answer. Now we're going to Basic Miniature Painting, who asked, mentioning about from the last Q&A, really cool Q&A. A question: which Chaos God do you associate yourself with? And I thought this was an easy one. And when I first came up with the answer, I thought, yeah, this is easy. And then a couple days went by, and I realized, wait, that's not quite right. So after a little more thought, I'm actually going to kind of favor Slaanesh, but probably not for the reasons a lot of people think. When I looked at, I was kind of walking through the progression. Yeah, immediately, with being a wargamer, well, got to be Khorne, right? But then, as you've seen in my Academy series, we're talking over and over again about manipulating your opponent, trying to deceive them to get them to do something that would help you win. That's more Tzeentch, right? Well, but in reality, think about in our lives, especially mine, excess is a problem, and wargaming is I spend a lot of time with it, and I could literally spend all day for a week doing gaming of all types of games, and I can't get enough of all the different games. So that's extremely Slaneshi. So, and the idea of enjoying something to excess, that's probably something that I do, because I'll binge watch favorite movies or videos, TV series, or those types of things. I'll spend hours and hours and hours painting different minis and building models, and more hours gaming, and that gets in the way of real life sometimes. And so, for that reason, I guess Slaneshi has to be the right answer for that question. So thanks a lot, Basic Miniature Painting, for that. And that kind of wraps up the questions we had. If you have any questions you want to ask of any nature, just go ahead and feel free to comment below. It could be anything from the questions we covered today, hobby related. It could be related to kind of why I do what I do. Really, there's no topic that's not, that's off limits. So go ahead and share, like, and subscribe if you haven't already. Comment below with a question you may have, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.